Hello, this is a continuation of Unfortunately for Society, Izuku is a Khanivore. Written by LouieTheDragon. Read by Stick. Chapter 7. They're like Sony's Wes and Irvina. Summary. Another new friend. It was a few days later when walking into a cafe that Izuku made another friend. There was a lovely cat cafe down the street from where he lived. He decided with nothing better to do that he would check it out. He walked into the cafe and requested an hour. He paid for his time slot and turned around to find a seat. From there, he spotted a boy about his age sitting by himself by the window. He settled his nerves and making new friends, telling himself he's done it before. He walked to the booth and spoke. "Excuse me, would it be okay if I sat here?" The boy looked up, his blank expression changing into one of simple perplexion. "Why?" was the boy's response. Ah, Izuku thought, a man of few words. He clapped his hands together gently and said, Well, I'd like to be friends with you." He closed his eyes in what he thought looked like wishful hope. The boy's eyes stayed blank. "We've literally never met. Again, why?" He countered, starting to look slightly miffed. Izuku hastily made movements to backtrack. No, I'm sorry for maybe pushing you, but... He looked down and poked his fingers together. "I've just been trying to make some friends lately, now that I'm out of middle school," he finished. The blank look he received lightened a little bit, and he counted it as a success. "Sure," the boy said. "I don't mind." Izuku smiled brightly, glad at making another friend. That was a record, he thought. He sat down across from the boy and asked him, "Hi, I'm Midori Izuku. It's nice to meet you." The boy looked increasingly relaxed, and it was even better that Cat chose that moment to jump into his lap. "Todoroki Shoto. It is nice to meet you as well." The cat in his lap was purring and headbutting him, and Izuku could see the small smile that graced Todoroki's face. Izuku left his phone on the seat and got up to find some cats. He went over to his left a little, where there were more cats around. He crouched down and held out his hand, beckoning some cats towards him. All the cats in that immediate area dispersed like he was covered in cat repellent. Izuku frowned, slightly confused, then it hit him. Oh. He concentrated for a moment, and then from deep in his throat, he successfully started purring. At first, one brave cat slowly tread up to him and hesitantly sniffed the hand he was holding out, before rubbing its head against it. This was the cue for the other cats to suddenly swarm him with attention, meowing for pets. He laughed and fell on his butt, and a particularly driven cat used that as an opportunity to worm its way into his lap. He gently picked it up as he himself stood. Izuku walked over to the table, cat in hand, and once more sat down across from Todoroki. The cat seemed very pleased about the extra attention given to it. Izuku looked at the collar and saw that its name was Cinderblock. He thought it was a fitting name for a spotted gray cat. Todoroki looked vaguely impressed, all the while holding the first cat in his lap. A waitress then came by to take their order. Izuku ordered a strawberry shortcake while Todoroki ordered some cold soba. The two boys proceeded to make small talk as they pet their respective cats. Izuku was ecstatic to have made another friend, and also surprised that Todoroki went to UA as well. Izuku repeated what he told Shinso, and said that he went to Aldera High School, which he did, but mostly for the experience of high school, since he already been tested out of all the classes. Izuku was almost surprised when his hour was up, and he shyly bid Todoroki goodbye. Just like with Shinso, they exchanged numbers as well. As Izuku was walking back, he made what he didn't know was a life-changing decision. He went onto his phone and created a group chat with Shinso and Todoroki. Midori Izuku. Hey, my lovely friends. I've made a group chat since I figured since y'all go to the same school, you ought to know each other. Todoroki Shoto. Don't you mean oughta? Midori Izuku. Smiley face. Shinso Hitoshi. Yes, we kinda know each other. Hi, Todoroki. Todoroki Shoto. Hi, Shinso. Midori Izuku. No. We gotta make nicknames. Todoroki Shoto. Alright. Todoroki Shoto changed Midori Izuku's name to Green Bean. Shinso Hitoshi. I approve. Green Bean. Okay, my turn. Green Bean changed Shinso Hitoshi's name to Eyebags. Eyebags. Why? Green Bean. I don't know much about you, but you have big eye bags, so I think you need to sleep more. Alright, sleepy boy. It's your turn. Eyebags changed Todoroki Shoto's name to Zuko Light. Green Bean. Amazing. Wondrous. I'm not being sarcastic. Zuko Light. I don't get it. Eyebags. Oh no. Green Bean. Eyebags. Oh no. Green Bean. Eyebags. What have you done? Green Bean. What? What do you mean you don't get it? Zuko Light. Did you really have to type all that out? Green Bean. Yes. Also, we need to get together and watch Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's imperative. Zuko Light. I'll have soba and then I'm good. Eyebags. Mochi? Green Bean. All the above. Zuko Light. Deal. Eyebags. Deal. Green Bean. Smiley face. Izuku has been feeling as though he's been far too busy lately, so he decided to go to the park. Granted, it was kind of impulsive since he didn't really know what he was going to do at the park, but that cluelessness went away when he sat down in the grass, next to a bush with a bunch of caterpillars attached to it. He held out his finger and a big, chunky green boy inched his way on. He smiled at the caterpillar's lack of survival instincts as he enjoyed the feeling of an animal coming up to him without him having to coax it. Other caterpillars followed the first one's example and made their way towards him. He started playfully beatboxing for a self-proclaimed caterpillar rave. And that's how Shinso found him, sitting cross-legged in the middle of the grass covered in caterpillars of all colors, giggling like a dork, and trying to beatbox but ultimately failing. Shinso didn't know how a person could emit such brightness naturally. Hi, Shinso-kun. He didn't realize that he had zoned out, and nor did he know how long he's been standing there, but clearly for enough of a time for the green-haired boy to notice his presence. Shinso smiled and waved his hand in greeting. Hey, Midoriya. There was a bright smile on his face as he said, Look, I found these thick boy caterpillars. He raised his hands to show the multiple caterpillars curled around his hand. See? We've been having a rave. He wiggled his fingers, slightly jostling the insects, and leaned backwards until he was splayed out on the grass. His hair blended in with the grass, and Shinso thought he would be good at hide-and-seek if he hid it in a bush. Izuku smiled wide, and Shinso wondered how wide a smile could get, before assuming it was probably his quirk or something. You can never know. There are weirder things out there. Shinso realized that he was zoning out again, and Izuku tugged on his hand, off-balancing him and making him fall over on top of him. Shinso's face landed in the crook of Izuku's neck, which in point made Shinso turn a bright scarlet, before rolling over on his side and onto the grass. There was a small giggle coming from the green-haired boy, and it somehow made Shinso feel just a little less embarrassed. The group of friends did indeed get together for their marathon, and there was indeed cold soba for Todoroki and mochi for Shinso. However, Izuku may have made a small mistake. See, everything was going fine, with Izuku lighting up at the sight of Haibai, the panda forest spirit. However, things started going wrong when they got to the backstory of Zuko. There was the Agni Kai scene, the fight between Prince Zuko and his father, and that really emphasized how much Izuku might have messed up. Truth be told, they had to pause it. Todoroki fell to the floor, breathing heavily and clutching the left side of his face, as if he were relieving some awful pain. Izuku realized that he didn't warn his only friends of any triggers the show might involve. Izuku kneeled beside Todoroki and drew small circles on his shoulder blades. It visibly calmed him to the point where he was out of a hyperventilation. "I'm so sorry. I didn't think to mention the possible trigger warnings of the show," Izuku frantically told him. "Oh no. I've messed up. Now you guys don't want to hang out with me anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you relive something that you'd rather forget. You don't have to be friends with me anymore if you don't want to. You'd probably be a lot happier with more time on your hands anyway. I know it's too much trouble." Both Shinso and Otoshi simultaneously put their hands on Izuku's mouth, cutting off his anxious rant. Todoroki, who seemed to have calmed down, looked at him with fond exasperation, a ghost of a smile on lips. "It's not your fault. You couldn't have known this would happen." Shinso had the same expression as Todoroki. "I know what it's like to be alone, and I know that neither Todoroki nor I would leave you by yourself over a mistake." It was reassuring to know that both boys didn't see the act of friendship expendable like everyone in his middle school did. Also, both boys didn't mention that as Izuku ranted, the shadows of the room became longer and more jagged.